Yo, Bracy Skills Clinic's back with another video. Today, it has been a great day around the NFL. Last day of the regular season, week 18. Week 18. That don't even sound right, but yeah, 18 weeks of the NFL. You know I'm a Cowboy fan, if y'all didn't know that. So my team won yesterday. They won 51-26 to the Philadelphia Eagles. But we were still paying attention to see who our opponents will be. And we got the Santa Clara 49ers, since the stadium is in Santa Clara. No, I ain't even going to do y'all like that. San Francisco 49ers, we have them next week for the playoffs. First game, bringing back that old school Cowboy-Niner rivalry. Is going to be fun. On my Instagram, I'm going to be trolling 49er fans all week long. Just because I'm in the Bay Area as a Cowboy fan, so I got a lot of friends and family that are 49er fans, so it's my turn to really talk about y'all. So overall, that's current events. But I'm going to test something out for the first time, and it's going to be basically Bracy story time. And I'm just going to go through just different stories that happen in my life that are all true, of course. Nothing false, fabricated, none of that. I'm going to go into some stories that I do want to share with the audience. Some of them will be basketball related, some of them won't. But the ones that won't, like the one we have today, as you see in the title, when I met Kendrick Lamar back in 2011. So, backstory. And as you guys can see now, like, I'm a big hip-hop fan. And even more so West Coast artists. So I'm always listening to West Coast music. I'm always falling across, new artists that I never heard. And I'm listening to them, whether they're from the Bay Area, Sacramento, or down in L.A., SoCal, right? I'm listening to West Coast music mostly because that's just the music that I feel like I identify myself with as far as just, knowing the geographics of California. I would rather hear something about the Bay Area, Sacramento, L.A. than anywhere else. And even though I do listen to all hip-hop, but I'm just saying what my first preference is West Coast music. So this is like maybe early 2011, late 2010. Shout out my boy Demarion Gibson. He writes his own books. He has a couple books. Man, that's my dog right there. Went to high school together. Me and him also was at Solano College together. And we used to always just talk music, new artists, what albums just came out, who albums are about to come out. We were just big hip-hop heads, right? So I remember, we had a class at Solano, and he's telling me about this new rapper named Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, man, this is early 2011. So I'm like, nah, I ain't really. I know Kendrick had been out at that time. And mind you, I've heard of Kendrick before. I've listened to Kendrick before, but I heard him as K. Dot because that was his first name. He used to call him K. Dot. So when I first heard K. Dot on Games mixtape. He had a freestyle with him, J-Rock of TDE, and it was a dude named K. Dot. I'm like, okay, I ain't thinking of it. That's K. Dot, but I didn't put two and two together yet. So when he's telling me about Kendrick Lamar, I'm like, okay, I seen this stuff run across, some of the mixtape sites, but I just never really listened to him. But I'm going to go give him a listen, right? I'm going to give him a listen. And this is right around the time I'm, like, just now owning, like, Dom Kennedy, too. So this is, like, all the greats. I was already listening to Nipsey Hussle, but this is when I first started hearing about all these dudes. So I went back and listened to Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, okay, this stuff is fire. And then one of the songs, he was talking about how he basically changed his name from K. Dot to Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, okay, let me look at K. Dot. And I seen his name on that song with Gam. I'm like, oh, so he just changed the name. Okay, all right, boom. So I'm listening. I become a fan. I'm like, hey, D, man, Kendrick got some slaps. I'm rocking with Kendrick. Kendrick, man, he's speaking some stuff. And I like what he's talking about, just being a kid from the inner city, but, not really, falling into the crowd, but knowing everybody that's around it. I'm kind of similar. Like, I grew up in Vallejo. I wasn't involved in the streets at all, but come on, all our people were. So we still knew what was going on, basically. So anyways, I'm a Kendrick fan, right? Then that summer, 2011, he dropped Section 80. So Section 80 is on Apple Music now. Great album. I honestly, that is still that one, and maybe Damn. But Section 80 is probably my favorite Kendrick Lamar album to this day. I mean, a lot of classic hits on there. So he had dropped that, and then that's when I was just sold. Like, yo, people ask me who I'm listening to. Kendrick and Nipsey. Kendrick, Nipsey, Dom Kennedy. Kendrick, Nipsey, and Dom. That's all I was listening to that whole summer, 2011. I'm listening to a couple new stuff. I think like Schoolboy Q, I was on to his stuff a little bit because through Kendrick, I was listening a little bit of like ASAP Rocky. See, that's when all them started coming out. But for the most part, Kendrick, Nip, Dom Kennedy, that's all I was listening to in 2011 after that Section 80. So then, DeMarion is like, hey, bro, Kendrick coming to Sacramento for a show. His tickets is like $40. $40 to go see Kendrick. And guess what? I used to, like when me and DeMarion was on, my other homie, Nikhil, shout out him, a couple other cats was on, right? But I used to tell like my other homies, like some of my other homies, hey man, y'all want to go see Kendrick Lamar? Kendrick Lamar? Who is Kendrick Lamar? Why you always listening to weird stuff and blah, 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 blah? I'm like, whatever, bro. All right, damn it, don't go then, bro. Don't go then. I'm going to go with my boy D. So we went, me, him, and his brother, Quez. Shout out Quez. So us three, we go see Kendrick Lamar in Sacramento for $40, bro. Kendrick performed mostly his songs from Section 80, and then he brought Schoolboy Q out. Back then, just think, if they saying who is Kendrick Lamar, just think what they saying about Schoolboy Q, right? But this is 2011. Kendrick and Schoolboy Q, $40. He brings Schoolboy Q out. They all performing their little songs together, right? So anyways, we bought a ticket for the meet and greet. And, me, DeMarion, and Quez, we, get to the meet and greet. Mind you, we go to the backstage. Kendrick back there, he taking pictures, whatever. Schoolboy Q, he on the couch chilling. So, it becomes our turn to take our pick with Kendrick. And I'm with my boy, DeMarion, right? So I remember he just go up to Kendrick. We both say, what's up? He's like, what's up, Kendrick, man? We from Vallejo. He like, oh, yeah, Vallejo. Yeah, I mess with Vallejo. And then my boy D was like, hey, no, my boy Nikhil. Nikhil was with me. Shout out Nikhil. One of them actually was like, hey, man, you should do a song with E40. He's like, yeah, man, yeah, that'd be dope, man. That'd be dope. Now, we said this back in 2011. That next year, that next spring, 2012, he had a song with E40 called Catch a Fade. So I'm not saying we did that, but I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, man, so that's where you see the picture and the thumbnail of me and Kendrick. Man, Kendrick is a real humble, solid dude. And this was very, very early in his career. He just ended up blowing up. So I'm going to go on record and saying you'll never be able to see Kendrick Lamar again for $40. But I did. I saw him for $40. So that's my story when I met Kendrick. I'll be doing more of these because I got a lot of other people to talk about and some stuff that's a little bit more, direct with them, hands-on, as far as not just like a meet and greet at a show. So, yeah, man. So that's pretty much the video today. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We out.